Good afternoon. Welcome to the AI Ops Advantage discussion. Thank you for joining us. Today, we'll be discussing three tools and automations that you should use to implement into your business before 2025 ends. We're getting close to the end of the year here, so these are going to be tools that are going to help you free up at least 1 to 2 hours of repetitive tasks from your week, if not more. This is valuable time that's able to be reinvested into the growth and forward motion of your businesses. It's my hope today that you walk away from this session with practical tools and techniques that will set you apart from your competitors and increase your productivity. Allow me to introduce myself. My name is Josh Johnson, the founder of Rev Strategy. I'm originally from Baton Rouge, Louisiana, where I completed my education in marketing at Louisiana State University, home of the Tigers. In my free time, I enjoy cooking Cajun food recipes for my friends, exploring new hobbies and skills. Recently, I learned how to play chess, so I've been spending a lot of time on chess.com. And I'm also hoping to learn how to do ice skating by the end of the year. I attempted ice skating a few months back, or I guess last year, and I did terribly. I was one of those people hanging onto the wall the whole time. So hoping to accelerate my skills and my ice skating knowledge here soon. Shortly after completing school, I decided to start my own marketing agency with the focus of helping small businesses to grow through fun and creative marketing campaigns. Over the first 2 years, I worked together with several service businesses to design websites, manage social media, and implement marketing strategies, only to find that we were only fixing one piece of the puzzle for these businesses. After many discussions with clients, I noticed a common pattern. The marketing campaigns were successful. However, the businesses couldn't handle the scaled growth because their operations couldn't meet the moment. With this in mind, we evolved Rev Strategy from a marketing agency into a marketing and operations consultancy that builds lean AI-powered systems that can unlock sustainable growth. Today, I specialize in helping service firms like lawyers, CPAs, even blue-collar services like plumbers and lawn care to streamline their workflows, reduce wasted hours, and modernize their business through practical AI. Rest assured, this conversation is for the AI novice and native alike. Whether you use AI every day or you use ChatGPT for the first time last week, the tools that we talk about today will be practical and useful for anybody and in any business. Now, we all know AI has become the hot topic over the last several years, and it's actively changing both the type of work that's done and who does said work. My philosophy on AI in the workplace is that it is a tool for productivity. AI can be used to free up our time from repetitive tasks so that we can focus on driving growth and strategy, becoming more effective and a productive business. Now, let's take a few minutes to define some terms that we'll be using today so we can all start off on the same page. I don't want to come in and assume that anybody has any special knowledge of AI or the tools. So we'll go ahead and take some time to define a few of the terms that we might be using today. I forgot to go to the slide. This is going to be introducing myself a little bit here, but we'll jump right on into the AI fundamentals. So AI, to define that term, get us started, AI stands for artificial intelligence. And that is simply the software that can think, reason, and respond in ways that used to require a human brain. We also have the term LLM, which stands for large language models. Large language models are software like ChatGPT, Claude, Gemini, DaVinci, all these different names that you've been hearing. ChatGPT's almost become a verb at this point rather than a noun. Um, these are large language models. They're conversational systems that learn from vast amounts of data and can assist you as if they were a virtual team member. LLMs have learned from billions of examples of language so that they can generate text, ideas, or analysis. Think of it as a digital professional that's read just about every business book in the world, every HBR article, and every memo ever written. This is the transformational power of this technology. It is given to you so that you can have it and use it to learn and to grow your business. Another word that we'll be using a lot today is going to be prompts. Prompts is something that we can have a whole session about, which we probably will in the future. So definitely stay tuned to learn more about prompts in general. Uh, Prompts are the instructions that we give to AI, the instructions that determine the quality of the output that we receive. A well-defined prompt is like a great meeting agenda. It helps keep your AI focused and productive. Another thing we'll be talking about today is going to be automation. And when I say automation, I mean setting up technology to perform a repetitive process automatically. Once you define the rules, say you're categorizing expenses, sending email replies, different things along those lines, that's automation. In AI terms, automation is where thinking of AI meets the doing of the software. Now, the real power of AI isn't in the jargon, it's in how we apply it. So, whether you're a beginner or a power user, the goal is the same: to use AI as a tool to make your business smarter, faster, and more scalable. So, without further ado, we'll go ahead and dive into what everybody's here to learn about today, the three automation techniques that every business should have implemented by the end of the year. Today, we'll be discussing three automation techniques in detail. Not only that, but I will share with you guys at the end, I'll email this to everybody, the exact prompts and tools that we discuss so that you will have success in implementing these automations for your business. These techniques will work for any business of any size within any industry. So, like I said, without further ado, let's jump into technique one. First and foremost, I want you guys to all consider this question. How many hours a week do you spend managing your inbox? I know for me personally, I spend a lot of time in my Gmail trying to figure out how to respond to emails, how to organize, how to understand and sort the emails that I do get on a daily basis. From drafting messages, organizing emails, and filtering out spam, many professionals spend up to 2 to 3 hours a day, if not more, inside their inbox. Think about that, guys. That is 30% of the work week. Imagine what you could do if you could reclaim even 15% of that time. Allow me to introduce you to Fixer. Fixer is an AI app, an AI tool that within minutes integrates directly into your Gmail or Outlook. Fixer will auto categorize messages into different categories, such as needs reply, promotions, waiting for, different categories. There's about 8 to 10 categories that it'll use. And this will help you to focus on high value conversations. So it'll take you out of the day to day trying to sort and organize. It does that for you. Now your focus is on the high value conversations. With one of our clients that uploaded this software into their email, that alone cut their daily email management from 2 hours to just 45 minutes a day. So definitely still some work to be done in the email, as you would expect, but it drastically reduced the amount of time that the client spent in their inbox. Now, I pose another question. How many of you guys have received an email? Maybe it's from a client, maybe an employee, but you receive this email, you read it, you're trying to draft a reply, and then writer's block sets in. You sit and stare at the screen with a blank stare, trying to summon the best way to respond to this email. Not only does this tool sort and organize your emails for you, but it will also draft a response to your emails in both your tone and your style. All you have to do is read the email, make minor changes if needed for accuracy and to fix the tone if it doesn't seem correct, and then send it off after you're satisfied. Fixer does this by training on your previously sent emails so that it can know exactly what you would say and how you'd say it. Further, it acts as an assistant to help you. If all that wasn't enough, it acts as an assistant that can help you schedule meetings via email. We all have those moments where clients, prospective clients, vendors, they email us and say, hey, can we meet? When can we meet? Let's say that happens. Fixer will automatically draft an email response with three options with times and dates that you are available to meet. So you don't have to go back and forth between your calendar, typing it in the email, go back and forth, and then figure that out. This is an amazing tool that will free up so much of your time by implementing it into your inbox. And so definitely something to consider adding to your inbox as we get closer to the end of the year. Fixer is one tool. There's several tools. I don't get any monetary gain from promoting Fixer. So if there's another tool out there that does the same thing, those are um, welcomed as well. But Fixer is one that I've had great experience with. So we'll go ahead and dive into technique two. Everybody knows that business is driven by money, but few people actually enjoy getting into the nitty-gritty of their business books. Bookkeeping is usually the first task that most business owners outsource, not because it's unimportant, it's arguably one of the most important business tasks there are, but it's because it is repetitive and time-consuming. And anybody who's managed their books in the past can attest to this. Often bookkeeping is either neglected or becomes an avoidable expense in itself. With tools like QuickBooks or most online bookkeeping accounting software, you're able to automate a lot of the legwork that comes with bookkeeping now. So recurring duties such as expense categorizations and invoicing are now able to be automated very, very simply. So we'll jump into the first part of our second uh, rule, and that's going to be creating expense rules within these accounting softwares. Consider all the expenses that a business has. Consider one that all businesses have. That's going to be office supplies. Everybody of every business of almost every size, whether you're a tech business, lawn care business, everybody has to purchase paper for a printer, staples, all the fun stuff that comes from office supplies. Now, most people get their office supplies from one of these three vendors. If not, they go to several of these vendors: Office Depot, Staples, and Amazon. Did you know that you could set up expense rules so that every time you shop at one of these stores, so let's say Office Depot, for example, QuickBooks will automatically categorize it as an office expense. So when you're doing your end of the month reconciliations, you don't have to look at Office Depot anymore. You know that's already been placed where it belongs. Good to go. What about a retailer or massage therapist who uses Spotify to play music throughout their facility? You can create a rule that classifies Spotify or any recurring software charge that you have, QuickBooks, for example. Uh, you can set this as a recurring monthly charge that can be automatically placed within the subscriptions category. The same can be done for gas stations, phone charges, meals, the list goes on and on. Any recurring charge that your business has, any recurring store or other vendor that you guys go to on a regular basis can be automatically categorized and become one less expense you have to think about as you reconcile your books at the end of the month. The software has built these things into it, these automations into it that are extremely accurate and powerful and can save businesses a lot of time. The second portion of this is going to be uh, creating recurring invoices and expenses. For example, I work with a company who used to spend an hour and a half each week manually entering repetitive expense transactions. They, with these transactions, they would have to handwrite a check. They'd bring this check to the post office. And after all of that was said and done, they found it was to be a huge time suck. It would take about an hour and a half each week to get all of these things accomplished. Now they were needed to be done, but it was just a huge time suck that could easily be fixed. So what we did was we came in, we set up a recurring expense automation within their QuickBooks that would automatically create the expense every 2 weeks when they would need to go through this process. It would create a pre-filled check to accompany the transaction created in QuickBooks. and it would send a reminder automatically to print the checks at the correct time. So no more trying to figure out, okay, is this the day we have to do it? Setting all these reminders, everything's done for you at that point. So all they would have to do is on that day, they'd have to go and print the checks, sign the checks, and then drop them off in the mail. We were able to reduce time spent on this recurring project by 45 minutes. While these adjustments seem to be little, 15 minutes here, 30 minutes there, these are small automations that can compound, saving hours of time, preventing errors, and freeing up bandwidth for growth driving work. Now, I know I've used QuickBooks a lot. QuickBooks is a lot like ChatGPT, and that whenever people talk about bookkeeping, they mention QuickBooks almost as if it's a verb. Now, QuickBooks has some incredible automation software, but so do other accounting and bookkeeping platforms. So I've done the same with platforms like Zoho, Gusto. All these different platforms have similar or the same capabilities, and it can be translated again across all platforms. So the same as Fixer. If you find Fixer isn't the one for you, feel free to reach out to me and we could suggest some other ones that are going to be very similar. Same for QuickBooks. If you use a different platform, I'd love to help you get to the specifics and the nitty gritty of that platform specifically. Now, let's go ahead and dive into our third and final technique. This one is arguably my favorite technique that I'll be sharing with you today. I've saved the best for last for this technique. This isn't necessarily an automation, so to speak. It has some factors that can be automated. However, using it will set you apart from your competitors and help you to redefine your strategic goals. It will make your business run smoother and keep your decisions informed and battle tested. Let me ask you this. Have you ever faced a decision or a problem that has required the experienced perspective to inform your decision? I'm sure if we were raising hands, everybody would raise their hands at that point. Have you ever imagined having the advice of a chief marketing officer, chief financial officer, chief information officer would bestow upon your company when you're facing these decisions? Well, allow me to introduce you to your next chief fill in the blank officer. With this technique, you're able to prompt your favorite LLM, which stands for large language model. So we're thinking ChatGPT, Claude, Gemini, and ask it to act as your experienced chief financial officer, chief marketing officer, chief operations officer. The list goes on. How does this work? Simply enter one of our advisor prompts, filling in the specific contextual details and information that you need into your LLM of choice. Once prompted, the LLM will inquire about more details if needed. When it feels like it has a sufficient grasp of your business, it will immediately start advising you on strategic next steps for your business. The power behind this technique is a true game changer and will set your business apart. Remember, these models have been trained on almost every business book there is out there, every HB article, and every memo ever written. And it can use this information to help advise your business and the strategy moving forward. For instance, I recently used our CFO prompt and input my last month's P&L statement. Within seconds, AI highlighted that 42% of our spend is in labor. It suggested that we optimize our subcontractor rates. Then it generated 3-month cash flow projections and even suggested alternative labor sources at a better rate. This is what I mean by AI made practical. It's not about replacing experts. It's about giving every every small business, C-suite level insights at the push of a button. The key to mastering this technique is developing a detailed and specific prompt. Remember, we talked about prompting at the beginning. We're definitely going to do another session on prompting within the next few months. So keep in mind for that. But a vague prompt will always give you vague results. A precise one will give you strategic insights that will help fuel your business's growth. The more data that you can share with AI, the better results you'll be able to receive. Now, before we go any further, I want to touch on something very important, and that is data privacy when using AI tools. Large language models like ChatGPT or Claude don't automatically have access to your company data. They only know what you type in or connect to it, whatever you upload to it. So it's crucial when using these platforms that you use them responsibly. I'll share really quickly a few of the best practices that we follow here and recommend to our clients at Rev Strategy to protect data privacy and to ensure that everybody's data is treated with respect. Number one, never share personally identifiable information. Never share personally identifiable information. Things like client names, addresses, financial details. Um, if you work with clients like a CPA, Social Security information, that is all financial information as far as like how much someone makes. All that is personal information that can identify that individual if done incorrectly. So unless you're using a secure enterprise level environment with a data retention agreement, which I'll go ahead and say most small businesses are not using, at this point, you would know if you have that because you would have contacted a lawyer, gone through the process with the company. So if you don't have a lawyer, if you haven't gone through a lawyer to talk about data privacy, it's best to assume that you do not have a secure enterprise level environment. So unless you have one of those, you need to do your best to protect the sensitive data of yourself and your business and your clients. Number two, a way to do this is to anonymize sensitive data. If you're analyzing client info or vendor info or your info for that matter, swap out names with placeholders like client A or vendor number one. What this will do, it will protect the information of the people who data you're analyzing, and it will give you the same level of insights. You're not losing anything by taking away the name and replacing it with an anonymous version. The insights remain the same, but the risk disappears. So that is definitely a key strategy moving forward when we're thinking about prompting. Another is going to be understand your tool's privacy policy. For example, ChatGPT team and the enterprise version of ChatGPT don't train their models on your data, but free versions may. So always check the settings before you get started to understand exactly what they're doing with the information that you give to the platform. Fourth, use internal approval, use internal approval workflows. Treat AI output like it's a draft from an intern. So always review the information that AI gives you, the output, before publishing it or sharing it externally. Number five, create an AI use policy for your business. Outline who can use AI tools, for what tasks, and with what data. This will help keep your team consistent and protected while they use these tools. A rule of thumb that I use within Rev Strategy and always recommend to my clients is this. If you wouldn't email this information to a stranger, whatever you're going to input into the large language model, if you wouldn't email to a stranger, don't paste it into a public AI tool. If you need help thinking through AI use policy for your company, let me know and we can find some time to discuss that in more detail. Now, let's take a look at one of our advisor prompts so we can give an example of how these prompts can really change and fuel your business. Now, remember, I'm not holding anything back. So, simply because you chose to attend today, you'll be receiving these prompts in your inbox as a thank you for being here. So, let's go ahead and get into the prompt here. This is going to be our Chief Marketing Officer prompt that is able to be used as an advisor prompt, is what we call it. So I'll go ahead and read it through, show you just how detailed these prompts can be. And yeah, we'll go from there. So the start of the prompt, we're going to instruct the AI into what it needs to do. So the mindset that we're saying is, you are my Chief Marketing Officer and trusted advisor for Rev Strategy. Rev Strategy is an operations and marketing consulting firm. So I'm going to tell it a little bit about my business so it knows what I do, the work I do, the industry I'm in. Rev Strategy is an operations and marketing consulting firm that partners with service businesses to simplify and streamline their operational processes and provide exceptional marketing strategy and execution. Now I'm going to give it its background. I'm going to tell this AI what knowledge to come forth with. Your background, you have 15 plus years of experience as a senior consultant at KPMG, specializing in consulting firms. You founded and scaled multiple companies from 0 to 200 million plus evaluations. You have deep expertise in go-to-market strategy, artificial intelligence and business automation, and operational strategy. You're known for giving direct, actionable advice that balances short-term wins with long-term strategic growth. Your role is to advise me on critical business decisions by analyzing the competitive landscape, prioritizing ruthlessly. Telling me what not to do is just as important as telling me what to do. Thinking in frameworks. So use proven business models like jobs to be done, blue ocean strategy to help inform the decisions that you're advising me on. Challenge my assumptions. Push back respectfully when you see my blind spots and be specific. Give concrete next steps, not just high level strategy. How to advise me. Ask clarifying questions about my business context, customer base, and resources before giving advice. Further, present 2 to 3 strategic options with pros and cons rather than a single recommendation. I'll stop the prompt here and point this out. This is a key part of this prompt. Give 2 to 3 strategic options with pros and cons, because we want to remember when we're using a prompt like this, when we're using a tool like AI, we're not getting it to do the work for us, at least in this prompt. We're asking it for its advice. So we want to be able to evaluate the options that it gives us to ensure that there's still a human level aspect going into this project. Going back into the prompt, flag risks I might be overlooking. Reference relevant case studies or patterns you've seen succeed or fail, and be concise but thorough. Respect my time while being complete. Now, the last part of this is going to be to give the AI your current focus, your current goals. What are you trying to achieve right now? So, for example, our goal is to onboard 10 new clients by the end of 2025. Further, it's our goal to build out an extensive content platform to better serve our clients. You can always add more guidelines and parameters to this prompt, but it's a great prompt to get you started. This prompt, when entered into an LLM, will begin to process the information you give it and act as if it were the chief marketing officer. It's important to remember that AI tools don't know things the way people do. They learn from patterns within their training data and then reason within a context window. Basically, the recent conversation and data you've given it. So that's why good prompts and clear instructions matter so much. So as we wrap up our time together today, I want to go over again quickly these 3 tools, automations that we've discussed so far in our time together. Number 1 is going to be to automate your email. So using tools like Fixer AI or any other tool on the market that does the similar thing, we have experience with Fixer AI, but using these tools, you can organizing your inbox will take much less time. Again, our client that we worked with was spending 2 hours a day. They moved down to 45 minutes. Number 2, automate your bookkeeping and get rid of repetitive tasks. By automating your transactions, you can save both time and money and even prevent human mistakes in the process. And lastly, hire your fill in the blank CFO, CMO with AI. And the prompts that we will send you at the end of this session are going to be a game changer in how you run your business and make decisions moving forward. So, as promised, we'll have some time now for questions and answers. I have a few commonly asked questions to get us started, but if you have questions that have come up as we've been discussing today, please feel free to put them in the chat and we will get to those as we see it. I'm going to open up the chat here. So if I have it pulled over here, so I'll be looking for any questions. We could talk about questions that are relevant to what we've talked about today, to specific tools that we've talked about today, or if you have questions just about AI in general, about business in general, happy to go into those as well. So, one question I commonly am asked is, what can I do to learn more about AI and its effects on the future of business? That's a fantastic question. I always compliment that question because it shows that people are interested in the forward motion of what AI can do. There are plenty of resources online that are great tools to help you master AI. You can also stay in touch with Rev Strategy. We specialize in working and helping companies implement AI into what they do. And so right now we're focused on building out an educational platform for AI. That's something that we hope to launch in 2026. So definitely stay tuned, and we'll be doing these um, webinars every month moving forward. So definitely stay in touch with those. The next question I get asked sometimes, it's a more technical question. It is, can I give an LLM like ChatGPT or Claude too much data to process? The answer to that is yes. And it's yes, it depends. If you're using a free version of ChatGPT or Gemini or Claude or any of these LLMs, they will give you specific parameters on how much data you can input into the system. If you use a paid version, which ChatGPT is not a sponsor of this, but their paid version starts around $20 a month, which is a very reasonable price for the value you get for that. Um, I use ChatGPT every day, and since I upgraded to the paid version, I have never hit the limit in terms of how much information I can give to it versus how much I'll receive. So there's that's I guess that's saying a lot based on how much I use it. But yes, some models will cut you off based on how much they're able to process and analyze within their context window. That's a term that we didn't really discuss too much in the beginning, but context window is the amount of information that an AI or LLM can process at a given time. So sometimes if you give it a prompt that's too long, it'll say that won't fit within the context window. All right, I do have a question in the chat that I want to get to. This is from Tama. It says, how easy can we integrate this into any of our new systems? So the systems that we talked about today, systems, tools, techniques, these are all that easily implementable into whatever processes and systems that you guys already have in place. I'll go through each of these kind of individually. Automate email. So Fixer AI you can start it off with a 7-day free trial. We aren't sponsoring or getting any monetary benefit from this. So just to kind of put that out there. But Fixer AI starts with a 7-day free trial. And then after that, it's a monthly charge of I think it's like $7 to $20 a month. I can't remember exactly off the top of my head where that comes out to. But that is something that I was able to implement it into my system within my client systems within 5 minutes. Super, super easy. You sign up. If you sign up with the email that you use in your business, if it's a Gmail or Outlook account, then super easy. You sign up, you can do it yourself. Super, super easy. The next one, automate bookkeeping. This one, the difficulty level increases a little bit, but not too much. This is probably the most difficult out of all the ones that we've talked about. And that's simply just going into your accounting software. I'll say QuickBooks, for example, and looking into the transactions section. They have a section for rules. They have a section for recurring invoices and expenses. And at that point, just like you input a regular invoice or expense, you're going to create that and then set it to recur as needed. For the rules, you could create a new rule, set it to automatically apply to any transactions that are going to fall within that place. So let's say you have like a Adobe subscription that comes out of your account every month. You say if a charge comes through my credit card that is labeled Adobe, go ahead and automatically put that into my software category. If I get one from Spotify, same thing. Go ahead and put it in my software category. If I go to Racetrack to get gas for my company car, go ahead and put every charge from Racetrack in the gas. Automatically put that in the gas category. And then lastly, hiring your C-suite with AI. This is going to be simply a copy and paste job. Copy and paste with a little bit of adjustment as needed to fit the specifics of your business. I'll go back to that prompt just to kind of point out where that's going to be. The specifics. So you are my chief blank officer. So chief marketing, chief information, chief operations, whatever makes sense for what you're trying to accomplish in that goal. And then obviously you're going to want to put your company name here, not my company name. And then you're going to put in a little description about your business. It could be this mine is one sentence, however much information you want to give it on your business. And then the rest of this is going to be pretty similar in terms of like your background. You could change it up if you want it to have a specific background. This is kind of a general background. Uh, the role, if you want it to give you more details in a specific area, you can adjust the role to do that. How to advise, if you want it to change that up. Those are different things you would customize as you go, but mainly copy and paste into an AI like ChatGPT or Claude, and it will be able to give you that. Another thing you're going to want to customize is your current focus and goals. So I always recommend when you're using a prompt like this to tell the AI your specific goals, again, giving it as much information as you can, protecting data privacy, but also giving it the context it needs to do its job. And that's something that definitely sets things apart. I appreciate you guys all for being here for our first AI Ops Advantage. Again, we'll be doing these towards the end of every month moving forward. So definitely stay tuned for more information on that, and feel free to stay in touch. My website is going to be revstrategy.com, uh, rev-strategy.com. There you can find out more information about how we serve businesses. And yeah, excited. Thank you guys for joining us.